One, two, three. We want to welcome everybody today to Mom and Dad Talk. Our favorite two people are Mom and Dad, and they looked a little drained today. How you guys doing today?
Oh, a little tired today. I
Yes.
had my first infusion today and a little tired, but everything went well.
It's a great topic tonight, folks. Pray for my dad right now, battling some really strong stuff here. Prayer.
Mhm.
And we believe in the power of prayer
Yes, we do.
because it's like, when you want to call and talk to the most powerful person in the world,
Mhm.
in the universe, he's just a prayer away, and that's God.
Mhm.
Um, and so for a lot of people out there, you think it's like a magic wand, you think it's like whatever the
Mhm.
case may be, but prayer is like a realignment.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of things, aspects of it, but tonight our discussion is about the power of prayer and why we believe in it. So, Mom and Dad, talk to our audience about why you believe in the power of prayer for those that may not believe in prayer.
I believe in the power of prayer because if there is a certain specific uh, topic or
Hmm.
need a word from the Lord, I always have to pray to Him to lead and guide me to making the right decision of what I'm praying about.
Mhm.
And I have seen the results of my prayers being answered when I pray that way to Him.
Mm.
That's
Dad?
that's what that's what I experience. And without without the power of prayer or without even praying, we're lost.
Hmm.
There's nothing that we can do on our own without leaning and depending on God to answer our prayer.
Mhm.
So that's my feeling and my take on prayer because we just cannot survive without prayer. I'm going to say before we leave our bedroom in the morning, I always tell my husband, I said, let's have our morning devotions, our morning watch before we start our day. That really does help us to have a successful day when we start out our day with prayer. So I would encourage anyone who wants to have a connection with God to get on our knees and ask God to lead and guide us because He will and He does.
Dad?
Prayer changes things.
Hmm.
I know quite a few months ago I told you that all of a sudden I started waking up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
You suggested I go to a room by myself, get on my knees, and start praying.
Hmm.
I did that. And now I'm still doing that. I've gotten that habit that every morning about 3 or 4 o'clock I wake up, I pray for half hour, 1 hour, and things improve. And really now that I have this
Health
cancer,
problem.
this health problem, I'm very encouraged when people in our church are saying, "Dell, I'm praying for you." Now that means a lot to me because when you pray for yourself, that is, how do you say it, kind of one-sided. But when other people pray for you,
Hmm.
that's encouragement.
Yeah.
That's encouraging you to go on. It's like, playing a basketball game or a football game, and the people in the stands start cheering.
Hmm.
And if you've ever been in a sport like basketball or football or soccer or whatever, that cheering from the crowd encourages the players on the field.
Hmm.
And here we and we're not, and you have to realize we're not here to stay. This is not my home.
Hmm.
I know one day that the Lord will call me home, or one day things will happen, but I have to be ready. I have to be ready, and I'm looking forward to that day when I can see Jesus face to face.
You know, um, but prayer isn't about a feeling. It's about showing up. First Thessalonians 5:17 says, pray without ceasing.
That's correct.
So with many people today, people think it's something you do when you feel inspired or emotional. They stop praying when they don't feel spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer is a discipline, not a dopamine hit. Consistency builds intimacy, and intimacy builds power.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
so for our listening audience, choose a 5-minute prayer window every day for the next week, same time, same place, and watch how consistency builds connection. A lot of times people don't understand that.
But so many people feel that they have the power, and they don't realize the power is not in a person.
Yeah.
The power is in God.
And folk, I can't tell you how many times, when the Holy Spirit, I in fact, what I learned from is Samuel. When Samuel was a young boy, he kept on hearing this call, and he would run to Eli. And Eli would be like, "Go sit down. You're thinking stuff up." And this was at night, and you're trying to figure out, why is God trying to talk to me early in the morning or at
Mm.
night? Because that's the time when he can get your attention. That's the time when we're just totally focused and we're totally oblivious to the world, because the world can get busy. We can get preoccupied from what we see, what we think, what we're trying to do. We get so caught up in it, we forget to talk to God. And God's like saying, I want to talk to you. And so for a lot of people, that's when I learned, it's like, you know what? And I remember that when I was going through my troubles and I couldn't go to sleep or whatever, I said, rather than watch TV, rather than just staying up, I said, God, you're trying to talk to me. And usually that was for something that was going to happen that I couldn't see.
Mhm.
Rather than take a pill, rather than do all that, I said, you know what? Let me talk to God. And I hope that a lot of people, when you can't sleep, don't noise your life away.
Right.
Too many of us just put noise in our life, and we're trying to call people, do stuff, can't sleep at night, and we add, and that's the time to slow down. Okay, God, everything's off.
Mhm.
You got my undivided attention and that's some of the greatest inspiration. Some of the greatest things happen when you're listening, actively, because prayer is more than talking to God. It's actually listening to His Spirit guide you
Mhm. Right.
and to work on some things and stuff. So, what were we going to say, Dad?
Well, I was saying that the best time for me to pray is at night when everything is quiet
Mm-hmm.
and you get on your knees and say, "Speak to me, Lord," and wait for that still small voice.
Yeah.
And it will come.
When I lost my job, it's that especially when you got to pay bills, the situation gets real, real quick. And I know some of my friends right now are going through some real tough things out there, and we're praying for you. I'm rooting for you, right? And I hope that because so many times we lean to our own strength, our own understanding of how we're going to fix it, and we never give God the opportunity to tell us what way we should do it. And when I started to trust God more, okay, God, tell me what to do. That's when things open up. When I try to do things my own way, manipulate, and we have a lot of people out there, good Christian people, but they always try and manipulate and do what they lean to their own understanding to get with it. They use the Jacob method of Christian. I know I'm supposed to have this. I'm gonna manipulate my way to get, and you rush too soon. You go out God's plan and you wreck it, and then you blame God for it. Well, you just messed it up, saying, you know what, God, I should have just been listening.
Mhm.
My health. You know what I'm saying? Being reckless with my health, I had to change my diet up to get back realignment. Say, God, I got you. You've been trying to tell me this, but I was hard headed thinking I would be invincible, and you were saving me. And then when my body started to break down, then I realized, okay, God, you got this is the lifestyle change.
Mhm.
Why? Because it's more than just living long. It's also paying attention to God long. See, eating, you don't want anything cloud your mind with God, connection. We had a problem tonight, getting our communication going, folk, but we were consistent,
Mhm.
right? Because sometimes there's a level of our understanding of what we don't know.
Right.
And like tonight, I had to look and figure out how to stop it on my end. And a lot of times God stops it on his end, but sometimes we didn't learn the lesson on our end.
Mhm.
So, it's just a lesson for all of us. But, before we close that, I hope you understand. I hope this is helpful for somebody out there struggling with prayer. But any final thoughts before we close with prayer, everybody?
Yes, and there was one thing that I'd like to say to everyone who's listening. We have a God who never sleeps and he never slumbers. He's on call 24/7.
Yeah. And folk, he's real.
Mhm.
Try him. Some of
Yeah.
you are saying, unfortunately, we always try him when everything's gone. And then when we get healthy, we forget him. And I hope that you don't do that. I hope that, when things are going well, you don't forget, you remember, and like, you know what, you give thanks, because this life, there's always going to be a bad day.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you're consistent with God, even your bad days will be better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because God will because you got that faith to know it's going to be all right. You're framing, and we'll talk about it another time there. Your faith is reframing your thought. Because we're doing a Bible study. I hope you guys can, for those listening on, if you want to see it, go to Campus Stella Heights on Facebook. They'll give you the link to go to our Bible studies on Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
It is virtual. So like I said, wherever you're at, you can join and stuff. I'm putting a plug out there because I know somebody is struggling or wants to talk. Hey, Todd, I want to talk to you, or I wanted you to pray for. Were you all studying? So I'm putting it out there for those people that want to join there. Hopefully I'll be doing that every now and then, because we've been doing this whole year and people have been transformed. People's lives have been changed. My life has been changed. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I hope that your life changes too. So, you know what, folks, this is a Christian show. So we went really Christian tonight. All right.
Amen.
And I hope that you understand why, and I hope you try it. This is for helping you in your life. All right. Till next time, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks. Bye.
All right.